Welcome to Sparked, a journey of soul and spirit. I'm Niccy, medium, soul guider, and your spiritual cheerleader. This podcast is your space to reconnect with the spark within, explore the unseen world, and deepen your trust in your own soul's wisdom. Each episode, I'll walk beside you through stories of spirit, lessons from lived experience, and heart-to-heart guidance to support your path of awakening. Whether you're navigating your gifts, healing your heart, or just curious about the magic of it all, you are so welcome here. Because your soul's journey is a spark that matters, and you don't have to walk it alone. Let's get sparked. Hello. So I'm actually super excited about what we're going to be talking about today. And I say we because, of course, we are on this journey together. So all of these tips and tricks and topics and things that I'm going to be talking about, these are things that you can explore too. And this is something that I actually started to explore before I even knew that it actually had a name. So I started to practice it whilst connecting to loved ones in spirit before I even really understood what it meant. And it all makes sense as to why I choose this way of connecting to spirit. It all makes sense now. So this is what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about automatic writing. I'm really excited to delve deeper so you have more of an understanding as to what it is and why I do it in my sessions. This is something that I would have loved to have a podcast episode or just an episode or anything in general to actually understand why I was connecting spirit the way that I was. And I know that I'm not alone, and a lot of mediums do this, but now I'm going to allow you to make sense of it in my words as to how it can help connect to spirit. So a medium that has normalized the way to connect to spirit via automatic writing is probably like you, if anyone, or if you have seen a medium that has connected via automatic writing, would definitely be the Hollywood medium Tyler Henry. So he's had about 2 television series now. He does some live reading stuff on Netflix. I'm definitely not here to promote his work, but if you have seen a medium automatic write, it potentially could have been on TV and it could have been Tyler Henry. So that's just an example. So if you were to have seen him on TV, kind of scribbles as he connects to spirit. So for as long as I can remember, though, I've had this fascination with paper and pen. I've loved anything and everything of stationery. I would always be having a look at all the different pens and art books and all of the things whilst I was growing up. And I've always loved the felt tip black pens and textures, and there was just this beauty in black and white on a piece of paper. It honestly felt really simple but powerful. There was just something about it that really drew me in at quite a younger age. So throughout my schooling, all through when I was younger to then going into high school, I studied art of some way. I studied creative studies in some way, shape or form. And it was always that pen to paper. Was I a fine artist? Absolutely not. Did I try to study fine art? Absolutely I did. But did you think that I was able to express the way that I was feeling in a fine art way? Absolutely. Oh my God, no. I am not a traditional drawer in any sense. I was actually only speaking to Reese, my partner, not long ago about art and drawing, and he loves drawing and he loves painting and all of the things as well. But it's just that I express different to him. So I now understand and know what intuitive painting and intuitive drawing is all about. And that's the way that I connect on in and create art when I want to in my free time, where Reese is very much structured in what he should be drawing and what he wants to draw and so on. But he's kind of how can you do that? How can you just put pen to paper and just let it flow? And it's just the way that I've always loved to express. So you could say that I was always a chaotic creator, and I still am. And there's so many parts of my life where I'm a chaotic creator, but then there is beauty that unfolds from how I created it was chaos, but then there was beauty at the end of that conclusion. And that is a lot like automatic writing. So here is all this scribble and this pen to paper, and it doesn't look like it makes sense, but yet the underlying messages that are in those scribbles are so beautiful and touching for those loved ones that you are reading for. So I've always also felt very guided to put pen to paper and to have that pen gliding across that paper. And I was always drawn to creative worlds that created the beauty in the darkness. So I've always been really in love with creators such as Tim Burton. And I love how his stories held these underlying messages wrapped in shadows, you should say, and yet full of light and love is actually the underlying messages. So I've always been really attracted to like the Addams Family and the Munsters, where he's these, what society would say, like these dark, spooky creatures or people or beings, and yet underneath it all they have so much love and light for one another, and they care so deeply about one another. And that's really what's always attracted me to the ooky spooky but fun and vibrant and beautiful creations that we can watch. And in a way, like as I also already had stated, that automatic writing feels to me like a beauty revealed in unexpected, messy, dark lines. And so when you see automatic writing and scribbles, they could look, well, of course, it doesn't look like they kind of make sense, a lot of them. But then you can kind of think to yourself, well, that's dark. That's especially because I use black pen too. I've got this thing where I need a black pen all the time. And really underneath all this scribble and this chaos and this darkness, it's such beautiful healing messages for my clients who seek me to speak to their loved ones in spirit. So it really is that dark to light, that black and white, and the beauty that it actually really does hold. I conducted a one-on-one session today, and this mother had come to me, my client, mum, came to me grieving her daughter who is in spirit now. And it was such a beautiful, beautiful session. And the mum I could feel her lightness from her daughter's messages. I could feel her lightness when she was exiting my room. What was really beautiful was that her daughter loves art, loves expressing, loves visual art, lyrics, poems, drawings, all of the things that I loved, of course, growing up also. And her daughter was so taken aback by automatic writing and automatic scribbling, and she loved my scribbles, and she even mentioned it. And of course, I communicated that to her mum, and her mum was like, of course, because she would have loved to be able to have seen that and to do that herself. And so it was really special that, it was a wink and a nudge from her daughter in spirit saying, Mum, look, this is so fascinating. And so, of course, I'm not going to share anymore because this was, of course, a confidential sitting. All of my one-on-one private sessions are confidential, but I just thought that it was really intriguing that a loved one in spirit was taken aback by that's how you can connect. This is how you can communicate with spirit. But you might be thinking, well, this is what New Age mediums do. They just do a little bit of a scribble. They like art. And so here they are scribbling whilst connecting to spirit. But the thing is that actually automatic writing and scribbling and automatic and intuitive writing and drawings actually have been done for centuries. So this part of the episode, I'm actually going to put my little historian hat on right now and just give you a few little facts that have been documented to say automatic writing has been going on for quite some time. So back in the 18th century, so about the mid-18th century, yeah, that's right, I said mid-18th century, a French philosopher named Allan Kardec actually became known as the founder of Spiritism. So not spiritualism, but Spiritism. And he actually worked really close to mediums who would let their hands just be guided by spirit to write answers to his questions. So again, here's little Niccy not even realizing this, had, I guess, taken place and had been documented. And Allan actually has a book called The Spirit's Book. I'm not sure if this is something in which it's now available or anything, and I guess I can do my research on that as well. But he has all of his teachings in a book that he named The Spirit's Book. And it came directly just through automatic writing. And to him, it wasn't just an art. It was a way to actually just study nature of the soul and the afterlife as well. So that is so incredible. Mid-1800s. Wow. And I feel like as if I want to actually press pause and actually see if some kind of edition of his book is actually available, but I guess I can do this after I record also. And then I'm going to skip to the 1900s, or the very early 1900s, about 1913. There was a housewife called Pearl Curran, and she was in Missouri. And she claimed to channel the spirit of a 17th century English woman named Patience Worth. I'm going to stop and I am going to giggle like a little schoolgirl right now because I can't help but see the name Patience and laugh at it, because the thing is that I'm a big fan of the US version of the show Ghosts, and there is a ghost or a spirit in there, and the character's name is called Patience, and when she gets really angry, she goes, Patience, Patience, Patience. So I can't help but laugh when I now see the name Patience. And the thing is that with Pearl, she actually started on a Ouija board. So Ouija board is something that I've never been, I've never been interested in. I can't see me being interested in. But of course, that is a modality of connecting to spirit. So she started with a Ouija board, but then she eventually received an entire novel. Like she started to conjure up novels and plays and poetries just through automatic writing. So she used to have a little dabble on her Ouija board, and then she started to automatic write. And then here are these novels and plays and poetries and spoken dictations, and it's just so much. And critics really praised her work, and heaps wondered, how the hell is just this ordinary housewife with no formal training could produce such complex writing? Was it spirit, or was it her subconscious, or maybe both? And we can't go past the artist side of it all. And in the early 20th century, surrealist movement begun. And they definitely used automatic writing and automatic creating on automatic and intuitive drawings and paintings and so on. You cannot, and it wouldn't have been intentional that they would have been tapping into spirit, but the way that they created their pieces was definitely to bypass the logical mind and tap into raw creativity and to raw authenticity into the way that they created and what they produced. And they would write without stopping and editing, and as I said, they'll just pour onto the page. And so, of course, without even realizing, but then looking back on it, you would see how that would be very much influenced. So automatic writing and creating has been used as a tool for spiritual connection, profound philosophy, and pure creativity for so long now. And it's so complex. And sometimes they're created all together, all at once or separately, but you can't not say that it does not exist, because of course it does exist. Absolutely. And just another little tip is that automatic writing, automatic creating was actually had another name. So if you're not aware, the name was psychography. I hope that I'm saying that right. But what's really cool is that in my creative world, in growing up, I absolutely loved also creating through photography. So I love that all my little art expressions and the way that I viewed the world all came together. And here I am now in the work that I do, and the work that I'm so passionate and driven by is that I always work with psychography. So it's just another little fun little, I guess, a little thing that I just wanted to add on in as well, and that my creative world all came in alignment for what I do, what I'm driven by, and it's just always fascinating, and it's never not going to fascinate me. And my partner, there's light bulb moments and downloads that I get, and I'm just like, whoa, that's really spun me out. And my partner's like, why would it spin you out now? Like, with what you do and how you work, how can these things still spin you out? Because the thing is that we never stop learning through this, and through any job and through any work and through any passion. We're continuously always evolving, and we're always learning and picking up things, and it's mind-boggling and it's magic. And so when I'm like, whoa, that's just a bit of magic that is just sparkling within me, and it's just really exciting, and just discovering it is just, there's beauty to it. There is one medium that comes to mind that I guess I'm really inspired by, or I've always found intriguing as I progress through my journey, is that I'd always see her on paranormal shows and things. And she's now a very well or accomplished intuitive artist, an intuitive, I guess, writer as well. Does she call herself that? I'm just kind of looking her up as I'm speaking. I follow her on Instagram, and I understand her Instagram more because I guess just my interest in things that have been bubbling in the background. But her name is Cindy Kaiser. And as I said, I was introduced from like paranormal TV shows and things that I used to watch quite a while ago. And I'm just having a little look at a clip now, and it actually so behind the art, intuitive artist and medium, Cindy Kaiser. And I am just so like, here's another little mind boggle where I'm like, wow, I really am interested in the way that she works, because I feel like her work has definitely found me for reasons, and Spirit's basically popping Cindy's page, her Instagram page, in my face to be like, hey, this is what you love, and you should delve deeper into the creating side of it, and looking at your canvases again, and having a little play with different medias and things when it comes to your mediumship. Because Cindy's work, her intuitive art, this is where she does work with spirit, and then there's figures that come out of it, and you never know, she never knows what she's going to get until the work has been completed and it has been produced, that then she's aware basically of what she has created or who she's created. So that's just another name that you can pause and write down, or have a look on her social medias as well. And it's really, she's inspired me to go back to my canvases and to have a little play again, because I've only really produced, since my development, I've only really produced 2 intuitive pieces that I really love, and I can share them again on socials as well to show you. But there's like been 2 guides that basically have appeared from these paintings, and I've worked the way that Cindy worked without even realizing until now I look at Cindy's work to be like, oh wow, okay, then the guide has appeared. Here I am just kind of free flowing, and then guides have appeared for me, which has been remarkable. It's been really cool. So I'm inspired by that, and hey, it could be something in which you're inspired to have a look at ways that you can play and ways that you can talk to spirit. And it doesn't just have to be through one divination. I guess it could be through quite multiple, until you find what speaks to you and what is really the way in which you express yourself through your journey. So initially, why I was drawn to automatic writing, or even without knowing, but then when I did use it in my sessions and really decided that I was comfortable in keeping it around, and that's the way that I connected to spirit, was because the thing is that I feel as if it was like when the pen connected to the paper, it was like an activation. It was my permission for spirit to come and to have that communication with me through pen to paper. And it's just really comforting, and it just allows me to block out any humanness and any of my human things that are going on, I guess you could say. So it just puts me in a really beautiful place of just staying present with spirit. And I think earlier on I'm a very anxious being. I have ADHD and so on, and so I feel as if I don't want anything to cloud me, and I guess that's why my activation of putting pen to paper just really worked. And to see the words that would come up and to know that spirit is allowing me and helping me through this communication and through these sessions is really special. And do we need to do automatic writing to be able to communicate to spirit? No. So if this is something in which you are enjoying this episode, but you're like, I don't think I would be able to do it, then you don't have to do it. This isn't something where it's like, to connect to spirit, you have to be automatic writing and scribbling and doodling away. Absolutely not. You do not even need to be looking at a piece of paper if you do not want to. This is just the way that I work. This is the way that I work at the moment. Would it change in the future? Who knows? Perhaps so. But at this very moment, I'm really content. I'm a very visual being too. So even like I feel like clients kind of get a kick out of being like, whoa, what have you created through my session? And even people have taken their piece of paper because, there's been a name on it, there's been numbers on it, and things in which, they find really special, and they can go home and do as they please with that piece of paper because it was within their session that it was created. And so while I was brainstorming this episode before I hit record, I actually had like this little prompts on how you can connect on in with spirit via automatic writing. And then whilst I was recording, I'm like, no, that is far too rushed, and it's just not what I want my listeners to endure. I don't want them to still feel alone, or if they have any questions or things whilst they're practicing. So I have decided, and I love that it was a download whilst I was recording, that I'm actually going to do an online course soon of automatic writing, or even just like a basic, simple 101 automatic writing to contact or to connect with spirit. So that's going to come. I don't know when, because the download just had happened, but that will be on my works. That will be in the works. I will pop it in my calendar and I will make it happen. So, and that's going to be online, and it's something in which I haven't done many online courses, and I feel like it's time, because as I'm getting this download, spirit was like, nope, this is for all. This isn't just for this isn't just in person. This is going to be something where it's more of a broader audience. So I'm super excited to bring through that class in time. And that's something that you can look out for as well. So this concludes this episode of automatic writing, automatic scribbling, whatever you want to call it. I call it automatic scribbling because when you see the pictures that I'll post, you'll understand why. But really, it has been with me since the very start without even realizing, and it was long before I even called myself a medium. And it's been my creative outlet and my spiritual bridge, and just my reminder that sometimes the most profound messages arrive in the simplest, most quietest moments as well. So until next time, keep listening, keep trusting, and remember, spirit has a way of finding the right words even when we don't. Bye for now. Thank you for being here with me on Sparked, a journey of soul and spirit. Before we close, I want to acknowledge the Willakali peoples, the traditional custodians of the land in which I live and work. I pay my deepest respects to their elders past, present and emerging, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people listening today. If this episode sparks something within you, I'd love for you to follow along. Share it with someone who needs it, and stay connected as we journey deeper into soul. You can hop over to my website, nickysoulguidance.com, for more details, offerings, and a space to connect with me directly if you have any inquiries or want to explore this path further. Until next time, trust your soul, follow the spark, and honour your heart.